Well, howdy guys, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by for another episode. I'm Imperial Jedi. I've actually got quite a few things to show you. I've been pretty busy in between last episode and this one. Actually, I wanted to grow the city a little bit. Maybe add a little bit more variety, that kind of stuff to what I've been just traditionally doing in terms of like, neighborhood layout, like that kind of stuff. So I'll show you guys something new. And I've been creating some new districts. I'll show you guys some new ideas, this and that. Incidentally, I've actually overhauled the entire rail line again, even though we just did another episode. We just did one last episode on trains. But you can kind of see here, I've made a uniform fleet of these Toronto subway cars, because I think they're pretty cool looking. So I've got only those working on our internal lines, and I cut back on the total number of trains. And I think it's a much more realistic number, and we're not really seeing any... one particular station get totally flooded, which is like really, really good. We're going to see some variety still because our regional trains, I've left those untouched. There is still a way actually to change those. I haven't quite figured it out, but I was reading some of the comments and how these mods are working. But I didn't really dive that deeply into it. But I can show you guys how to use the mod though to make your own internal train lines kind of look all different. And then now that the sun's coming down, check out what I did over here for this interchange. Just a little bit of beautification, not a whole heck of a lot. I did want to continue with that, so I thought maybe we could do something like that for or work on that for this episode. But I just went through and I added a whole bunch of light assets, like nothing, nothing too crazy, nothing too offensive in terms of, oh hello power plant, in terms of like in brightness and that kind of stuff. Just a little something something. Kind of adds a nice little bit of a character to the interchange. So I've illuminated some of the underposts here with like elevated sections with little floodlights. Did orange color because the white was a little bit bright. And oh cool, some old scrap cars. That's kind of funny. Oh, actually that's really cool how they ended up underneath the rail yard. Oh, I like that, or the rail I should say. And then over here you can see just a little bit more brighter lights, white fluorescent, just kind of showing off a little bit more of the curves here. Kind of thought that was kind of nice. This little overhead light. And most of these are part of a new, oh goodness, what is it? I don't know what it's called, but it's like a lighting pack. I found it. Most of these things I find on Reddit. So if you guys are on there, you should subscribe to the Cities Skylines subreddit. That one is just phenomenal. So check that out. Lots of cool stuff. Anyway, I thought just, a little bit of light. Oh, goodness gracious me. Where are we going here? I thought a little bit of light just kind of makes the interchange look a little bit cooler at night, especially from above. Okay, so where do I even begin? The city. Holy smokes, guys, so much. So before we build anything, let me show you some more stuff. And, again, the whole idea of this is just to give you some inspiration, some ideas. That's why I might be moving at a little bit faster pace just in between the episodes here in terms of, how big the city is getting. You can kind of see this whole quadrant right here is essentially new. Even in the last episode, I think I just had maybe this little part here built, but nothing overly filled in. But yeah, I will obviously do some building on camera. I just want to get the city a little bit bigger so I can show you guys some cool stuff, this and that, right? Alright, so let's do sun up just so we can see things a little bit better. So in terms of expanding this neighborhood here, I didn't really want to do a perfect grid. So I did a little bit of symmetry. So this road here that continues to go up and straight, you can kind of see this one here. Some roads attached to it to make it look a little bit symmetrical. I've broken away from that over here though. And then to kind of just, make a little border in between. I've got this curving 6-lane road kind of sneaking through here. A couple sections where it becomes a bridge. Same with over here. Just to cut back on, just total number of intersections. Just to get traffic moving a bit faster. And I have a few little bus corridors kind of sneaking through here. And, oh goodness, this poor, okay, good. So that poor person got trapped. And these kind of roads, only service vehicles are able to drive on them. When you do see random cars like this, unfortunately the mod, it's not perfect, so I mean, in real life obviously people break the rules too, so if there were cops here they'd get caught. But I guess in terms of maybe traffic, we probably should let some people in the back way over here. So let's just extend like such. There we go. But just to sneak the whole way through. Only buses. There we go. Just mix things up. And yeah, this kind of connects, you can kind of see all the way over here, meets up with a little bit of an office district we have happening. And then I had these roads split into where our little in-town expressway kind of thing becomes. So that's kind of fun. The train kind of sneaks on through here now, goes along the side. That's kind of cool, I think. And then I've added some more interchanges, and I've upgraded a few of the pre-existing ones. So this is the new way on and off our main highway. kind of see this road just kind of continues. And is that a little bit... No, it's just the shadows. That looked like it was a little bit crooked. Oh, that is really weird how that happens. It's the slope and the shadow. Anyway, so this road just kind of continues along back here. It's a little back way to kind of get into this office district. And my thoughts for the highway on and off ramps, I moved them to, you know, just kind of far apart so that if one side of the highway does get a little bit backed up and there's traffic, it really shouldn't affect the other side too much. And just in terms of driving through here, there is a little backdoor option, so kind of bypass if you don't want to connect to this bridge. Because, I mean, I don't want to say there's going to be some traffic here, but there's going to be pretty high volumes of traffic here, so if you're looking to get through in a hurry, you might as well just, you know, take the little bypass through. And I was actually really tempted, and I can kind of show you guys these kind of things, I was tempted to do something like this as well, where we just have like a little bypass like this, kind of like a high-speed turning lane, but it's going to be a little bit challenging, looks like. Maybe you've seen these in real life. They have like a little mini diamond exchange at some of your busier intersections. And, I mean, this might be a little bit crazy just because of the slope and stuff, but the idea here is just you're avoiding the traffic light. So if you're just going towards the highway, you might as well just take this, right? So I think we'll do that. And then to cut back on just general traffic, we're going to change this lane arrow. And so now you can no longer turn left there. You have to go straight, which I think makes a lot more sense. And then just in terms of the slope, because that's a little bit too steep, we're going to start this off maybe a little bit further back. And just go like this. And then the idea behind what we're doing here is we want to just cut back on the amount of traffic that's going through here, because everyone coming down and turning left, you know, they got no other way to go, but if we can get a bit of the traffic away from here, if these guys are just going, you know, up here to turn right, might as well save them the way. Now this way, the only people going this way and turning right will be the ones going left. So hopefully we've accomplished what we're after here. Change this again. There we go. All right, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so there's one interchange. Over here, this used to be a diamond interchange, if you guys remember correctly. But diamond interchanges, I mean, they're great just for small volumes of traffic. When you have a lot of cars that are turning in front of each other just to kind of get onto the highway, obviously it slows things down. So what we've done is we've restricted the way people get onto the highway. We're kind of forcing them to go with traffic, essentially. So let's pretend this is like north-south, even though it's obviously not. So if you're going northbound towards the bridge, if you wanted to get on the highway going east, which is this direction over here, you would turn right, just like that cop car did right there. This is your ramp going on. You're going to meet up right here, and you're on the highway. If you're going southbound and you want to go east, you will not turn left. This cop can, because he's a police officer. This person should not. If you wanted to go onto the highway, you would turn right here, go under, get onto the highway ramp right there, and then sneak on. And then same thing over here, right? Turn right. And then this one, just because of the slope, I didn't really have a lot of room, so we're having the entrance for the on-ramp at the intersection. The only drawback to this is if this light is red and you wanted to go onto the highway, you unfortunately cannot. So that's why on this side, this is just slightly before the light. So if this is a red light and you're coming up and you want to go on the highway, this light doesn't affect you. If you're at UPS truck, you just, you know, keep on going type thing. So that's a little bit more efficient. So whenever possible, I'm trying to do that, but sometimes you're a little bit restricted from you know, space and that kind of stuff. Now, I've been messing around with the trains. I cut back on the total number of trains that are going from this way upward, and you can kind of see this is the byproduct of it. So I kind of left this intentionally, just so I can kind of show you guys the effects of that. So if you're not really using public transit and your roads look like this, adding more roads doesn't necessarily fix the problem. It just kind of spreads, you know, your big traffic loads out. So instead, this is where you want to kind of, if your roads look like this is when you want public transit back in. So I'll show you the lines that we need to beef up, because what I did is I actually took out the train that went from here into here. So we'll put that line in, and we'll notice the difference essentially right away. So let's create ourselves a new train line, and then I can show you guys how to just, you know, spawn whatever vehicles you want, that kind of thing. So we're gonna go like this, and then we're gonna go back down. Cool. So we're gonna pause because we don't want the game to pick right now. So we're going to remove that vehicle. So right now there's no vehicles. These ones are queued, So these are the ones that the game kind of picked on its own. Just kind of randomly rolls the dice. So we don't want those ones. We're going to look at our types here. I personally am just picking these ones because I like them. So let's add, say, 3 of them. We don't want to clog up the system too much. And then we're going to click on our color. We have our previous color already saved. That way we have a uniform fleet right here. And then bada bing, bada boom. That's it. Super simple. Speed goes on. And then we'll actually put it on 3 speed, just as we're kind of cruising around. But you guys just remember what this looks like. And then you can kind of see why this would be the problem, right? There's a lot of people who live down here who are working up here. So it's a little bit complicated, right? There's no transit anymore. So now that we've added these trains back in place, they'll get over here. Maybe they'll be able to walk. There's a lot of offices, that kind of stuff. When we start adding buses and more trams and expanding outward, that's when you'll notice like big improvements. So you can see right away, this has been running for not even like 1 calendar date on our City Skylines timeline. And look, all the cars that are coming up, disappearing. So once this gridlock kind of passes, I think we're in the clear. So like super simple, but one train can hold, you know, a few hundred people, right? And that's like, I mean, that's a lot of cars kind of saved right there. So I hope that kind of gives you guys some inspiration. So we'll check on this in a little bit. Obviously, it's not going to fix itself in 2 seconds right here, but okay. Now I had a few of you ask what you can kind of do for the sides of your city. Since we're over here, I'll just kind of show you. So like shorelines, coastlines, that kind of stuff. Or if you want to do like sunken highways, I think these keys are a really cool way to kind of line your walls. And I've got a really cool mod. It's included in the mod list. I may have spoken about it before. I actually don't remember off the top of my head. But it's called Key Anarchy. Super handy. It allows you to draw the keys basically anywhere. Oops, I might have been in the right spot here. So traditionally with a vanilla mod, or vanilla game, sorry, you have to draw them right on the coastline, which can sometimes be complicated because you'll see how they go underwater and it's like, you know, a little bit annoying. So with the Key Anarchy in place, you can draw these basically anywhere you want. So yeah, sunken highways, that kind of stuff, super cool. But if you want this kind of effect, here, I'll kind of show you how it works. You just basically, you know, draw this in a little bit away from the coast. You'll keep an eye more or less on the height. You don't really want it to go below sea level. So we'll just kind of maybe shape that off like this. See how that turns out. And just like that. Okay, cool. And now we're going to go over to our terraforming. And this is Key Anarchy, spelled like the old traditional fancy British way. So it's Q-U-A-Y, which is very odd. Incidentally, in Toronto, where I live, we actually have a street called Queen's Quay. And poor tourists, whenever they're here, they're always like, sorry, do you know where Queen's Quay is? And I'm like, oh goodness, I'm so sorry. It's Queen's Quay. And they're like, oh, no, Quay with a Q. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm like, yes, but oh gosh. So it's funny. It's one of those things, like potato, but kind of a weird thing, right? So what we're doing now is we're going to get rid of the rest of the earth right over here. And I also have that handy mod that kind of caps or gets rid of the soil limit cap. So I don't have to worry about that. That's super handy. That's included in the mod list as well. I think it's just called no soil soil limit. Oh, and speaking of mods, just because I've actually had a few of you comment on this actually in the last few episodes. With the North American Road texture pack, you're actually going to have 2 mods working for that to be on. So it's the Road United Core mod, I believe, is the other one, as well as a North American kind of texture pack. And the Road Core was made first, and it's going to say in the description something silly like, oh, this is actually a flooded little area here, cool. It's going to say something in the description about European roads. Don't worry about that, like turn it on, and then under your little options, it'll have a pull down tab, and then that's where you're going to see the North American roads. So you have to have the North American roads turned on, and then you got to go into that little tab, and then, you know, select them as the road you want. So it's a 2-step process. It's a little bit complicated, so sorry about that, guys. If it is really complicating for you guys still, I can make a little video just kind of showing how to do it, but I think with a little bit of practice, you guys should be okay. And then that's the same thing with some of the mods. You maybe have to turn some things on and off just to kind of, you know, get them to run properly type thing. Okay, so I don't know why I'm taking the extra effort here just to smooth all this out, because we're not even going to work on this part of the city, but I'm just trying to make the transition look a little bit nicer. And then any water that ends up inside, see how this water is just kind of dancing around? It will evaporate into the ground, so don't worry about that too much. If you end up changing the current flow too much and it's super, super flooding, you may have to back things up and kind of start again. So just don't panic when it happens. See, like over here, you might be flooding the bank a little bit. I mean, put it on 3-speed, just kind of see. And that's not a joke, right? See, right? Water, see. Terrible pun. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. These are so bad. Who writes these things? Oh my goodness. All right, so you can kind of see here, though, the water is now not offending, so it's not going over the bank anymore. We're safe. Right over here, this might just kind of settle itself out. Again, if it doesn't, totally no problem. Raise this. You always got backup options. You can put these flood walls in over top. Just kind of, you know, build up the area a little bit more. Okay, and if you don't like the look of this, say you wanted something a little bit different on your coastlines. Just put it back down to 1 speed. I think we should be okay for traffic and stuff. You can use these rocks. They're available in the workshop. I don't know the name per se, but they're part of the big asset pack. And you guys probably see me use these a million times. Just these ones here, right? So they're all different sizes. When you put them along a coast like this, it stretches the rocks out, which is pretty cool. So it kind of gives them a nice little jagged kind of effect right here. So, you know, you can kind of go from, like, say, like coastline, just au naturel, breaking a little bit of these rocks. I put a little lighthouse here for fun. There's also assets you can use in the workshop, like a little boardwalk style thing. These things you would connect to a road, and then you would terraform away the ground you don't want to have. Same with these things here. Just a little bit of a different idea. It's kind of cool for like lining your canal walls, that kind of stuff. And if you guys are trying to search in the workshop for these, this one, Metropolitan Sunken Wall, also part of an asset pack. There's European styles or like other ones. I will try and track down some of these links. I have like, you know, 12 or 1300 assets. So I've had quite a few of you ask me for an asset list, but it's way too much. Like and it changes so often. But I will try and track down some of the cooler ones for you guys. But you know, whenever you're going through the workshop, that kind of stuff, just keep an eye on you know, whatever's popular. Just search by, like, you know, title, that kind of thing. You guys can see the effect of the terraforming up here we're having on the river. That's pretty wild. So the water, it will, you know, stabilize. It'll kind of get itself going. But you can see here we've changed the current. So there's water now going this direction, and it's kind of cycling in a little whirlpool thing right here. And as a result, you can see the water levels dropping down here. So that's pretty cool. Water mechanics, very fun. Okay, so over here, let me just kind of show you this again before, I know I'm a little bit all over the place here, but again, inspiration, ideas, fun stuff. Plus I've been busy. I want to show you guys what I'm up to. So after you terraform away, often you're left with this little just kind of spot where there's basically nothing. If you want, you can just leave it open. If that's totally, you know, you want to have a nice unobstructed view to the water. Imagine that's your backyard. Pretty sweet little Italian style villa right here. Maybe Spanish style, who knows. Just kind of looking out. Very nice. Anyway, if you wanted to, say over in your industrial sectors, you could, you know, per se sneak a train line down here. This could meet up with a cargo station, could be like a dead end type thing. Or if you wanted to, you can, you know, sneak in a little elevated highway through here, single lane if you want, just goes in a little loop, just to kind of, you know, just get traffic moving, whatever you want. Or as a little bit of a backup option, what I tend to do is I'll put in kind of like an elevated cycling path. So kind of like a little bike Autobahn system here. So it's like a bike highway, which is pretty cool. You can see we've got some connection points to the, you know, the actual roads right here. Otherwise, if you want to travel long distances, you can see this just goes the whole way up. I haven't finished it yet. We'll save that for a future episode. And then, you know, wherever we kind of connect, maybe down the road we can, you know, down the road pun. Terrible. I said I'd stop. Oh gosh. Terrible puns. I like puns. They're funny, right? So we could change these ones over to, you know, like, roads after the bike lanes, that kind of stuff. Maybe keep a little network going. Have an elevated path come through here. Maybe have it sneak in between the highways. Like, you know, the sky's the limit, right? And I've noticed that when it rains a lot, we're seeing some flooding happening. And even over here, look at this. I think we've changed the river and everything a little bit too much now. Now everything's kind of cycling, right? Because we're actually breaking the banks on this side. See over here, we're higher. So just be cautious when you terraform. You can see these are the after effects right here. So, and also too, when you're drawing your walls, your sea walls and stuff, you want to make sure you're not going too low, like below sea level. Otherwise, you'll flood. Okay, so I want to show you guys a few more things. Then we'll just do a slight amount of buildings. I know I'm kind of taking a little bit too much time maybe with doing this, but okay. So another interchange that we've reworked in town. This one partial cloverleaf as well. That's what this style is called. As your little on is just before. No one can turn left here. You're not turning left here. Same kind of idea. So just a little bit more compact though. Had to work around a few obstacles, but achieve essentially the same thing. And then this one we converted over just to get some more traffic in here. And much to my surprise, we're actually still getting a lot of cars through here. So I'll keep it on 3-speed. Let's just watch this cycle for a little bit. Kind of see maybe where some of the problems are actually coming from. So it looks like just, yeah, a lot of people wanting to get off the highway. Just a busy area. Now, I wonder if we, no, you know what? Because I was thinking if we remove some traffic lights, it's not really going to help too much. I still think my original theory about there being not enough trains is kind of what is playing into effect here. I personally think this looks much better than it did before. It just hasn't cleared as fast as I assumed that it would. But again, these are the things you have to keep an eye on. So if this doesn't clear up, what we could do is add one more road spaced out as a bit of a bypass. Or what I know will fix it is when we introduce our subway, we'll make sure we have a line that just follows this road essentially up. So we'll pick whatever road is busiest and just have subway stations every 2 or 3 blocks. But that's, you know, that's coming up. We'll do an episode on Metro for that soon. So I'm not going to let the traffic stress me too much, but we will deal with it. Don't worry. Don't let this kind of, you know, don't think I'm abandoning hope here, but I like to tackle a lot of like other options before adding in more roads type thing. Because sometimes, you know, roads are not really the answer. Okay. What else has been constructed? I guess this whole general area right here. Added a few more train stations just so I can kind of get the issues kind of sorted with how I was placing the lines before. So we've got a new train station up here. Just a little makings of a transportation kind of hub style thing. So some parking lots, some turnaround points for buses and trams. Nothing too crazy. I thought the bypass was kind of fun though. Just have that breakaway. These kind of things I like to make a little bit more, you know, complicated than they have to be. But I think you guys know that about me by now. And so we do have lines kind of sneaking through, which is kind of fun. This area is pretty cool too. Went over top with the surface painter, cleaned most of this up by putting in the concrete. Got a little custom park kind of area happening over here too. Some benches, picnic tables, gazebo, that kind of stuff. You got your classic American kind of high school little backtrack kind of setting over here. I thought this was a nice little quaint neighborhood. And there's going to be a lot of high density just in the center core right around here. And you can kind of see I have a district going. It's called the Imperial Plains. And what I've done is I've started it like this. You can kind of see it just encompassing a little bit of the city. And if you'll notice right away, even though there's a lot of high density buildings, you can kind of see there's, high density zoned areas. When you look at it in terms of height, there's not a lot going on over here. Contrast to say over here. See how we're getting already taller buildings? So the way I've done that, and this is one of the coolest mods ever, and a few of you, when you guys start using this, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, game changer. So if you're trying to build, say, like a little residential neighborhood like this, but you want to keep everything as these little houses, these little villas, small little apartment complexes, without becoming skyscrapers, there's a mod called Control Building Level Up, and it's getting in the mod list. If that's not the name, I'll be very embarrassed. I think that's what it's called though. It's kind of something strange. But you have the ability to put these X's through the different zoning heights right here. And then you can stop development right there. So you can see if I were to take this off, the buildings would happily go up another level. Right, for all of them, it looks like. Commercial's almost ready too. But we're capping them there. We don't want skyscrapers. And that'll be a really cool effect when we get those really, really tall ones over here. And then I think I mentioned this before. If you are looking for the taller style buildings like this, search anything that has the word growable in it. So if you go through, say, the residential tab, and you type in the word, say, residential condo, download ones that have a grow or growable. And that means that they'll start off like this kind of height, and they'll get to that height, and then they'll eventually become like skyscraper status when they keep on going. So if you want just a little bit more height and variety than the base game offers, kind of take that option. But I just think the transition's so nice, right? And then knowing that this is going to stay like this, ooh, I love it. And a lot of these buildings here, these are kind of like Brooklyn-style buildings. I got some UK-style buildings. So my packs are very mixed up. I've got tons of assets. Anyway, I kind of like this. The city, it's coming together rather nicely, I think. And we got little, I don't know, I'm going to make this kind of like a utility-style island. I think I mentioned that before. So we're going to put a lot more, garbage processing. We're going to put in some, I'll show you guys just ahead of time. We're going to use a lot of these things here. Road. So we're going to build... What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a water treatment facility, I guess, is the best way to describe it, but like a really big version of it. So we would have some of these, you know, we'd have some like clarifers of different size, and we'll like, you know, terraform and make it seem like there's spillway ponds and like that kind of stuff. And if we're feeling really adventurous, and I think we are these days, right? We can maybe, and I don't see why we shouldn't, bring a small canal through here and then have some like, you know, little outflow pipes or something. Just make it seem like we're doing something cool over here. And they'll have the garbage collection, like that kind of stuff, so it'll be fun. I just want to start getting rid of all this like wastewater. I think in the long run it looks kind of gross. And then these things here that I showed, they act as a pump as well as a treatment facility. So it's kind of like the two of them cancel each other out type thing, so you don't have to worry about outflow. So it's a clean source of pollution, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It just goes into the ground, doesn't go to the water. But don't put them near anything like factory-wise or anything that does pollute, because they are a water pump. So that'll make your citizens sick. Okay, well I think that's basically it for stuff that's on that I've bought that's new, or that I've built that's new. As I say bought because I bought this square right here. You guys can see that. But yeah, no, the city is growing and look, it's looking pretty cool. On the docket though, the next big thing I really want to do is start shifting our industry over. And I think we're going to do that after we put in a few of the metro lines. I might get started a little bit with that off camera. But I'm holding back. I wouldn't say I'm holding back, but I'd like to do you know, the trams and the buses and like that kind of stuff, metros, when the city is a little bit more complete. That way we don't have to keep on deleting lines like I'm doing right now with the trains and, you know, these first little bit of buses and trams. I just kind of got those, you know, just again, out of the way, not that out of the way, but just so I could show them to you for inspiration, ideas, like that kind of stuff. But you can kind of see now that the city is getting more filled in, we're using a lot more trees. You can see I've been putting some trees in around here as well, just to kind of fill in the gaps and stuff. It's just all that heavy infrastructure stuff that we built before that looked a little bit too odd, out of place, maybe a little bit too big type thing. You can see now it's a little bit well hidden. Especially now that the density of the city is coming up. So these areas, you know, just kind of tie together rather nicely. So for those of you that were a little bit skeptical at first about some of these oversized interchanges and maybe elevated rail taking up a little bit too much space, you know what, I don't know, it's not too bad, right? Especially if you kind of cut back on the trains, doesn't look too chaotic. A uniform train fleet, that also helps the cause a little bit. I'm kind of liking it, guys. It's looking good and it's coming together. Those little in-town expressway things are kind of fun too. I don't know, I'm just having a lot of fun with this. I'm hoping you guys are as well. Okay, so let's just do, I mean, a hint of building. I kind of spent the entire episode just kind of showing you guys stuff versus really anything else, but so my intention is to get another highway connection coming in the back part over here. Just maybe we can save our Sims from having to drive the whole way and start, you know, clogging this up. And I mean, really, we should be kind of trying to cut back on traffic over here. But I think if we add another highway interchange, it might add some more. So again, we're brainstorming with this, but I was hoping that adding more trains would be the solution. All it looks like we've done, though, is added a slight amount of backlog over here. So we'll see. Still an ongoing project, right? Okay, so let's maybe sneak in just a little highway or something through here, just so we can start serving this area. And I want to put that in now, just before the city gets a little bit bigger in this spot. And it's not really going to be a full-fledged highway. It's just going to be a hint of an expressway coming in, and it's just going to be kind of like an elongated kind of on and off ramp kind of thing. So let's sneak that through here, and then we can just kind of do a little junction right there. Okay. And then, you know what, actually, this probably will help a bit too, because anyone coming this way, wanting to go right here, is getting off at this interchange. So, like, say, for example, all of these people, we might be able to cut back on some of that. Okay, so I think we may actually be able to do something good here. So there's a lot of residents, so we're going to be aware of that. This is where the noise is going to be the worst. Definitely where the 6-lane roads and everything are. So why don't we curve this? That's kind of actually a nice little curve. And then we can have our highways connect just over to here. And let's just make it a simple little 1-laner. Actually, maybe a 2-laner. We'll just sneak literally right on in like this. So that is our way in. This is going out. No way, did you just get that bang on? What? How the heck did you just get that lucky? My goodness. Like we're fishing with dynamite right here, guys. Holy smokes. Can't even believe that. Alright, and I'm spreading these out, as you can see, just so that the traffic doesn't get too bogged down. So we'll just go like this. That is fine. It's a little bit of a tight curve, just because of the way that's set up. So if we really want to, if we're diehard, which we are, we're going to go like this. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now this is going to seem a little bit odd, but you'll see why we're doing this. So we're changing the lane arrows. No more left-hand turns here. So straight, straight, straight. No problem right there. And then over here, no right-hand turns. Oops. Straight only. And then right here, turning left. No problem. If we want to, we could do that. So now we got the 2 lanes turning. That might be a better option. And then that's just because, say if you're a truck or something, in real life, this would be a little bit too sharp of a turn to do. It just really wouldn't make sense. You'd have to turn into lane number 2 here. Just go, outward. And it just wouldn't make sense because people are going to come in this way, so I think this is a little bit more efficient. There's no traffic light here anymore. So in terms of cars going in, that's going to work really well. I like that. Okay, now what do we want to do in terms of an interchange over here? This is where things get a little bit fun and complicated. So we could have this break into 2 lanes, one to meet up right over here and link into this road, so we can go that direction. And then we can have the other one go underground and then meet right in the middle here. So I think we're going to try that, because that sounds kind of fun to me. And this is, it's a little bit crazy. We probably should have backed this up a little bit, but that's okay. We're trying to have some fun here, right? Okay, so we're single laning this thing right now. You can see we're just going right over into here. Hopefully. Perfect. Not too hard. Don't want to make it look too, like oversized, or the angle is kind of, we don't want it to make the symmetry feel a little bit off, because it's going to be a bit strange having this in here. Okay, so that's just to go in that way. And then this is now to go over. Perfect. Now I think we're going to have to go as a little bridge right here versus a tunnel. I think the bridge will look nicer. Or, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I think the tunnel, we can hide the steepness of the slope just a little bit more. If it'll let us, of course. Okay, now if it's going to be uncooperative like it is, which is totally not an issue, we're just going to connect now a little bit further up and find ourselves a spot to sneak in. If we are having issues, just break the rules. Use the anti-collision kind of methods right there. And you can kind of see the real only issue was was that pillar. And that's really right in the way, so that's not the best thing to have. So we can pause this. We can redo this section, because this is pretty easy to do. And we're going to take out our pillars. So when we're elevated, that's over ground, bridge is over water. So let's take out our pillar right here. I'll probably say that a few more times just to kind of give you guys the old reminder. So no problem with the collision, turn that off. Do that. If you don't like these long stretches where there aren't any pillars, see on this side it kind of gets rid of it. Start that part again, put your pillars back in. Do from that side. And you kind of see pillar back in. If this is really, again, a little bit too long, you don't like how that is, change where the pillar goes. You'll lose the symmetry, but, if you wanted one, stay in the middle right there. But I'm not going to bother with that. I think we'll leave it like this. Okay, so that's now the way in, right through there. Still enough room that you can still, make the interchange, make the whole way around right there. So that basically is that part all linked up and ready to go. And we're going to have to get now the corresponding directions doing the same thing on, but like the reverse. If that makes any sense. So let's go through here, because it looks like we can maybe sneak a tunnel if we're lucky. Sort of possible. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that's the point where we have to go from, I think. Or it was. Alright, this will be hard. There it is. Okay, and we're going this direction and up. Cool. Okay, this is getting fun. That wasn't too hard, right? And now we're gonna need one that comes from, say, right around the middle, more or less. And I guess we can do it a tunnel as well. Well, tunnel. Oh gosh, we're gonna have to come from like here. Tunnel will have like come like that, and then link up with this. All right, I mean it's doable. Just a little bit odd. That's all. Unconventional, but unconventional is kind of fun sometimes. Okay, so let's turn off our collision. Go like this. I mean, you know what we could do, just to make things a little bit simple, is just have these two link up. Which I think is a little bit more practical, to be honest. Let's just do that. And then that means we can turn this into 2 lanes once these meet, so that we get a faster flow through. The reason why these trees popped up is I had that anarchy thing turned off still, but that's not really an issue. Shouldn't see anything underground. That's kind of cool. To be honest with you, that's actually really kind of cool. So let's turn up the speed here, and let's just see if we're effective. And everyone has the ability to get in. That's perfect. Some high-speed merging happening over here. Might be a little bit chaotic, but I think we'll be all right. Here we go. People are already using it. So theoretically, all of these cars would not now be going over here. So we're trying to cut back on you know, total traffic in this this little spot. And then, oh, did we just finally now win? Is this? 'Cause this is now really a little amount of volume versus what it was before. Sorry. Yeah, I think so. I think this is it, guys. In combination of that new highway interchange plus the trains now starting to have an effect, I think we've done it. So there we go. Some traffic 101 at the same time. So I think I'm gonna leave you guys with this. We'll definitely do some more building in the next episode, then follow it up with some of those more some more transit stuff. But yeah, it's kind of fun. Use some new highway interchanges. I'm not a big fan of how the Sims kind of choose their lanes. So unfortunately, from here you can kind of see they all want to go out. So that's not really, I mean, it's not really much we can do, unfortunately. But if we have the traffic plus mod, we can choose what lane that exits to. So if those kind of things bug you, it's a different traffic mod option. I know it's kind of like out in left field, I just threw it out there right now, but if you don't like traffic plus and that kind of stuff drives you crazy, I'm just saying there are options. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you very much for sticking with it, and I will see you in the next episode. And yeah, we got a lot to do with the city, but it's slowly coming along. I kind of like this. Some fun ideas. I think the water and everything's kind of solved itself too, which is kind of nice. But yeah, so if you have any questions or anything you want to see in an upcoming episode, definitely let me know, and I'll try and incorporate it in. But yeah, next episode we're going to do a little bit, I think, of maybe the start of some industrial expansion, and then we'll do the subways. I was saying a little bit different before, but I think that's the direction we're going to take. All right, guys, I will see you. I'll see you there. All right, take care of yourselves. All the best.